All right, so we're going to be talking about Truthfinder.com, which is a website that allows other people to find background information on obviously other people. They have been around since March 2015, which means they are a relatively new company. And on their website, it states, we've grown and expanded rapidly to bring you the most up-to-date information available in one comprehensive report. This is the very thing that Alan Weston warned us about in his book, Privacy and Freedom, which talks about a database that collects information and keeps it in what is considered a centralized database. So one of the first things that I did when I was browsing the website was, I think I'm gonna look up my girlfriend. And when I told her what I found, she was creeped out. She was creeped out because what I found were her old addresses and her more recent addresses. So she says to me, quote unquote, that is creepy. So obviously what is happening here on Truthfinder.com is what Daniel Solov would describe as data collection. And with that data, they are processing the data and putting it all together into one report, one comprehensive report, as per the website. Now, of course, the problem with that is that the data that is being collected might be inaccurate, which leads to what Daniel Solov again would call aggregation. So when you get these little snippets of information on a person, and from that, it might not paint the whole picture of who that person really is. So on the website, I found a list of things that you can find on a person according to Truthfinder.com. Let me read these off real quick. You can find their first and last name, known aliases, date of birth, phone numbers, email addresses, current and past addresses, census data, possible relatives, nearby sex offenders, arrest records, criminal records, traffic records, social media profiles, DEA licenses, and astrology signs. I don't know why would you need astrology signs, but hey, whatever works. So I will get back to these in a second. Obviously, invasions of privacy here, that's way too much information that is allowed to be found on any given person, right? So they're obviously collecting information, but where are they getting this information from? So whoever is giving them this information is obviously in violation of secondary use, which is another one of Daniel Solov's taxonomy of privacy issues we have here. So for example, if Truthfinder.com are getting these phone numbers, are they getting it from Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile? And are they doing it without our permission? And if they are, they're obviously participating in secondary use because they're using that information for what was for one purpose and now doing it for another. So what's going on here? They're profiting off of information. That's what Truthfinder.com is doing. If you go on the website, they want you to pay $25 a month for you to have access to all this information. And that, of course, if you get access, $25 is not really a lot. Like, if you really want this information, that means they're going to have increased accessibility to this information, and anyone who wants to find information on you, they're going to be able to do it, no problem. So what's happening here is this information about you out there is being amplified because it's being easier to access by others like myself or anybody who wants to dish out $25 easily. You want to find out where you live? No problem. Social media, they're going to find you. Now, one of the problems here is that we don't know how this information about us is being handled. That is called the data subject, which could be me or my girlfriend in this case. When I looked up her address, she's being excluded. That's what Daniel Solov called from his taxonomy of privacy exclusion. So there's this digital profile of us, of our information that is out there, but it does not paint the whole picture of us, right? So what it's really doing is dehumanizing us because we're being painted as just another statistic. So these electronic footprints that we are leaving behind, even if we are doing it unconsciously, on an everyday level, we should be able to contest this information about us. That is that this information that is out there about us, we want it to be accurate. So we should have a grasp on this information. So there are ways that this information can be misused by one of your enemies. Say, for example, somebody wanted to look at your arrest record and blackmail you by saying that they would disclose this information to, say, your spouse, for example, to hurt your marriage. That's possible. Or say a politician wants to see what your history is like, what you did when you were maybe a teenager or a young adult. They're going to try to use that information against you in the political race, right? So this type of information. Another example: say you might be a John Smith, and they might think you're a sex offender, but you're not. But your name is John Smith. It's a common name, right? You might be John Smith from Pleasantville or something like that, and they mistook it for you. So now your reputation is ruined because you've been labeled as a sex offender or pedophile. So this is what Solov would call distortion. And now your reputation is ruined, right? So let me see. Look what else it says on this website. It says it right here. We are not a consumer reporting agency. It is prohibited to use our site for any purpose governed by the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So basically, this is saying that it is okay for us or for whoever's using this information, as long as you don't violate none of the rules that has to do with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Mind you, that the Fair Credit Reporting Act came out in 1970, obviously outdated. And the only other written law on privacy is the Privacy Act of 1974, and that only applies to the government, which means that private governments can have secret databases. So what this disclaimer is really protecting by stating this doesn't seem like much, because this information is up for grabs by anybody who wants to use it, and they can use it to their advantage. So what's the historical significance of this Truthfinder? I mean, it probably happened gradually, not at a quick pace over time. So back in the 1960s, the social scientists who were advocating for privacy were right. This collection of database would be easily accessible, and citizens, Americans, they would be dehumanized. If somebody was looking for a job and they wanted to access information about you and saw a criminal history that distorts you and who you really are, you can be discriminated against based on what information is on you on Truthfinder.com or maybe other background search engine information databases. Even though this information is being collected, it might be too late to find a way to stop the way our information is being collected, but there's still a chance that we can fight or advocate for the way or protest against the way the information is processed in order to secure our privacy. This might not happen though, unless some groundbreaking event like, say, a Watergate scandal happens again, where we, the people, stand up against whatever controversy revolves around privacy or whatnot. So people, humans, Americans, citizens, they're all willing to give up a little bit of privacy just to gain something that they might see more beneficial. So maybe there's probably who knows how many people out there don't even know this website exists, and they don't know that this information about them is out there, and it might be inaccurate, and they don't even know. They don't even know. They can't contest it or anything. So at the end of the day, Truthfinder.com, it's information is power, but in this case, information is profitable, and a profitable business. It has been around since March 2015, and I'm sure lots of people want to get information on who they're looking for. All right, so check it out. Thanks.